After having revisited Thailand and enjoying it very much, our multiple-year amazing world bike tour has to continue east. As frequent viewers might remember, we are cycling from Germany to South Korea. And yes, this means we cycled into the wrong direction for the last 1500 kilometers.
Therefore, our next country shall be Cambodia. According to the internet, the top 3 things to do are Angkor Wat, Siem Reap and Angkor. So glad we asked. You now know exactly what we won't do.
Instead, we are looking forward to some proper adventure, tough cycling and finding the parts of Cambodia far from the beaten path.
We made it over. We are in Laos officially.
Laos?
Cambodia. Okay, sorry, Cambodia. When you enter the immigration area here of Cambodia, there's random people walking around trying to be very official, like taking your passport until you realize that's not a border officer at all. But the immigration went well, which is great because one would think that there might be some problems, but everything worked out really, really nicely. So, yeah, no corruption. Very good. I'm happy. Good start.
This guy is playing domino.
Yeah. Hello.
You make my picture?
Yeah.
Oh.
Mr. Paul won everything. Good day for him.
Surprisingly, the border crossing was a breeze. No coffee money, no bribes. We just handed over exactly $30 each in absolutely perfect, unblemished banknotes, the only kind they accept here, and got our 1-month ticket to the kingdom.
Back on the right side.
The next step, getting to the city 10 kilometers past the border. Priorities are cash and connectivity. We need a legit ATM and a SIM card that doesn't cost a fortune, neither of which you ever find at the actual border. To dodge the crowds and the tourist traps, we decided to enter Cambodia at the very western tip of the coast. Getting here meant riding through that ridiculously narrow tail of Thailand southeast of Trat. Seriously, for about 80 kilometers the country is barely a kilometer wide. From this border crossing it is now only 300 kilometers to the Vietnamese border. On good roads we could probably crush that distance in 3 or 4 days. But where's the fun in that?
You see, some countries have an edge. A place where the known world gives way to the wild. In Cambodia, that edge is Koh Kong.
This coastal outpost sits trapped between the Thai border and the towering Cardamom Mountains, a vast green fortress dominating the southwest of the country. Until the late 90s, this terrain made the area a stronghold for the last of the Khmer Rouge and a haven for smuggling and banditry. Therefore, for decades, this was simply known as Cambodia's Wild West.
But frontiers don't stay closed forever. With this long bridge and the upgrading of the highway, the isolation is coming to an end. Investment starts pouring in, and that rough, authentic flair might be gone before you know it. Since we enjoy the vibe as is, we are staying an extra day before tackling the jungle. If you ever make it here, you have to hit the little harbor in the evening. The local fishing fleet is small, but they bring in a wonderful catch every day. You point at it and they prepare it right there on the street. It doesn't get any better than that.
From Koh Kong there are only 2 roads, both lead through the vast Cardamom Mountains. One goes north towards Thma Bang, Siem Reap and Angkor Wat. The other one to the east we shall take, but first...
Time for breakfast. Do you want sweet potatoes as well?
Yeah, maybe one.
What is this? Oh, this is charcoal.
We are fueling up with Nom Kachai, It's a popular Cambodian street food consisting of chive cakes made from glutinous rice flour that are steamed and then pan-fried for a crispy finish. We also throw in some fried sweet potato and banana for good measure. It is all yummy, full of carbs and super cheap. It is exactly what keeps our legs going, and one can buy it everywhere all morning.
The best place to eat.
This is kind of savory rice cookie with a little bit veggie inside. Quite good.
With full bellies, it's finally time to move. As luck would have it, National Road 48 was under heavy construction when we rode this. If you follow in our pedal strokes today, you'll find a pristine, smoothly paved highway. We, however, had the pleasure of riding through a bumpy, dusty and noisy construction hell.
But a careful study of the map revealed a potential way out, for a bit at least. A daring detour leading even deeper into the Cardamom Mountains. It doesn't show up as a proper road, just a thin dashed line. But, speaking from experience, how bad could it really be?
After 30 kilometers of construction, we finally reached the turnoff.
Yes.
We are absolutely starving, and luckily we found this restaurant right on the side of the road. While calling it a restaurant might be a bit of a stretch, they do have shade, water, food and chairs. All things considered, this is paradise.
So now this is interesting. There's not many choices. It seems like some sort of veggies. Let's see what this is.
Cambodian cuisine is quite distinct from its neighbors. Luckily, I can have Matthias taste test everything first.
Maybe bamboo? Pork, I think. And 1,000-year egg. So it's very tough. Oh my god, what is this? Oh no. What is this? Oh, this is insane. Turns out it's a hard-boiled egg that was peeled and then braised in the dark sauce for hours on end. Actually, the taste is okay. It's not even very eggy. The consistency is a little strange. But okay, I can eat it. Fine.
We later learned that this dish is called Khao Sach Truk Bang Mon, or caramelized pork and eggs, an absolute staple of Khmer cuisine. While this here might not be the world's best version, it seems good enough to make the passing mattress vendor park his rolling shop for a bowl.
We are now at roughly 11 degrees north, just 1200 kilometers from the equator. This is literally the furthest south we've ever been. The sun is scorching like there's no tomorrow. Think Nicaragua, Guinea or southern India levels of heat.
Turning off the highway and heading deeper into the jungle, it is finally much quieter. Our target is a village 34 kilometers away where we hope to find a guest house. Driven by the fever dream of air conditioning, we push on. The shadows are getting long by the time we reach Thma Bang. It has been a tough day. We are exhausted and in a desperate need of a shower.
We just entered the Cardamom Mountains National Park, which is, well, probably the biggest halfway intact wildlife resort in Southeast Asia. And there's, well, 3 villages. And this is probably the biggest one. It's okay. Yes, yes. Okay, shut up. Shut up. Okay. Oh, Now we're looking for a guest house and a restaurant. And looks like we're in the center of the village here. Let's see.
We rarely plan ahead besides mapping out a rough route. This approach gives us the flexibility and adds a sense of adventure we love. However, not knowing where we will end up each night is also an extra challenge.
So we booked a room for the night for 30,000 rial. Rial, not euro. That's okay, it's very, very simple, but it's fine.
Let me show you the room.
It's stuffy and smells musty, and the air conditioning doesn't work. At least there is a fan. In the morning we want to buy some more supplies for our ride into the jungle, but we struggle finding anything we'd like.
This is a very poor area, far below Cambodia's already low national average. The vast majority of the population here lives on less than $3 a day. Accordingly, the choice of foods in the shops is basic. Imported, canned food, sweets, crisps, sodas and water. Unfortunately, we can't buy the massive 20-liter jugs the locals rely on for safe drinking water. Das sind 1,50 € für 3 Flaschen Wasser. We pay about 50 euro cents for every 1.5 liter water bottle. As we easily drink 6, if not 8 liters per day, this quickly adds up. But we cannot rely on tap water or any natural sources. On our hunt for breakfast, we found bread. And we wanted to have some omelette, and they have some omelette here. And she also insisted to give me the soup. It's a very strong pork stock.
Cambodia was under French colonial rule for almost 90 years. As a result, Phnom Penh, derived from the French word pain for bread, is a culinary legacy omnipresent across the country. To my huge disappointment, however, they did not adopt cheese into their cuisine.
Still, the woman running the little restaurant is incredibly kind and does her best to fill us up. On our way out of the village, we found another shop. We highly doubt those juicy apples grow locally in Cambodia. How much? Unfortunately, we can't transport much fresh produce, as it gets cooked immediately inside the panniers. We'll have to rely on finding something to eat at the next small village before the dashed line begins.
Leaving Thma Bang behind, the journey gets noticeably more remote. Traffic drops to near zero on this gravel track, leading even deeper into the Cardamom Mountains.
Hello.
At over 20,000 square kilometers, this vast range is mainland Southeast Asia's largest mostly intact rainforest. Since 2002, over 4,000 square kilometers of that area are protected as a national park.
Our days are spent on laterite roads, the standard surface for tropical terrain. They are cheap and durable, but dusty, bumpy and a constant test for our gear and bodies. Just look at the ruggedness and sheer scale of this wilderness. Without this road, moving through the thick jungle would be utterly impossible.
The near impenetrable nature of the cardamoms kept the area isolated for decades. This is precisely why the region came to serve as the final armed stronghold of the genocidal Khmer Rouge after their fall in 1979.
Because these mountains are so remote, the physical presence of the Khmer Rouge ended only near the close of the 20th century. While this difficult history helped keep the jungle largely untouched, it also resulted in the tragic legacy of unexploded ordnance. It is therefore ill-advised to venture away from the marked tracks and footpaths. Wow!
The sun is scorching relentlessly, especially around noon. After barely 20 kilometers, we are already in desperate need of a rest.
Supposedly there's a waterfall down there. Let's hope it's not bone dry, because it's quite the walk down. It's very sandy and rocky here, so we push our bicycles down and hope to find water. Oh no. Oh no. I think I can hear some water. That would be awesome. Oh. Oh. Yes, I see water. Yoo-hoo!
After a relaxing afternoon in the shade down by the river, we decide to spend the night. Nature even throws in a free concert.
The next morning we are slightly relieved that we didn't get eaten. To celebrate, we give our new drone a good spin. Just look at this. It is about 8 AM when we get back on the road. We decide we should probably make it all the way through the remotest part of the park today.
For one, there really are some dangerous wild animals in the jungle. More importantly though, it is a lot easier logistically. We would struggle to carry enough drinking water for 2 days, let alone for cooking and personal hygiene.
On the quest to find some food for the day, because it will be 45 kilometers through the jungle with nothing. So we stocked up on water and now we are buying some rice and, well, whatever they have here. We checked the shop, there was really nothing we wanted to buy, so now it's gonna be rice and some
Whatever they have, no?
omelette and meats, yeah. Luckily, these ladies fill up our lunchbox. This should get us through the day. Blood cake, no.
Blood cake,
Ist
no?
das für uns?
No, no, no.
Okay.
So what do people do around here?
It's okay.
In the past, many lived from poaching and logging. Now that these forests are protected, the economy is primarily based on subsistence farming. They have great conditions for jackfruit and durian, but also, who might have guessed, cardamom.
Oh my god, this is funny. So they built this barrier to prevent trucks and buses from going through the national park. But yeah, that barrier is doing nothing to prevent poaching. Not for trees and most certainly not for animals. People simply drive right around it. Despite the protected status, the threat of illegal logging here is very real. The most valuable target is rosewood, which is smuggled for international luxury markets. The entire conservation effort here is a constant struggle, with rangers fighting to protect the forest from those who seek to profit from its destruction.
It's 45 kilometers up and down a small mountain until the next bit of civilization. Since leaving the last village behind, we have encountered no one. It's just us and this relentless wall of green. The trek, that dashed line on the map, is holding up surprisingly well.
It feels a bit like the edge of the world here. What a privilege it is to be pushing through it. Wow, this is jungle.
The life of the jungle is all around us, but it remains unseen.
There's a lot of stuff going on here.
We hear the constant calls and movements of animals, powerful reminders that we are guests in this sanctuary, which protects countless species.
We know they're out there, but generations of hunting pressure has made these rare animals incredibly wary. They survive here precisely because they stay invisible. This is a global biodiversity hotspot, hosting some of the last large herds of Asian elephants and other critically endangered or rare species like the Siamese crocodile, Sunda pangolin and pileated gibbon. Wow, this is literally untouched nature here. Haven't seen this in a while.
The heat is intense. Despite months without rain, the air is thick, a heavy, oppressive humidity that soaks us right through. This is a lesson in raw endurance, demanding a relentless effort just to keep moving forward.
25% inclination and gravel, our favorite. The final ascent is crazy steep. While the canopy shields us from the sun, it also traps the humidity, making the air feel unbearable. It's brutal. At last, we make it to the top. Now the best part begins. Effortlessly gliding down the mountain, the cooling breeze in our hair. Oh my god, this is so steep.
Crazy.
While we were surprised about the good quality of the trek on our way up, it deteriorates quite rapidly going down the other side.
Holy moly. Oh, the chair is broken. Oh, shoot. Holy moly. Oh.
Oh my god. Ay, ay, ay. Oh god, sand, our favorite. I would push immediately, really. The downhill really has all the makings of a terrible road. It is either very steep, incredibly rocky and bumpy, or deep with sand. We are quite glad when it eventually starts to flatten out. Several times today we did hear an incredibly loud whooshing sound above the canopy.
No, it's gone.
It sounds like a massive bird, probably a great hornbill.
We are so exhausted. This terrain, combined with the tropical heat and humidity, constantly brings us to our limits. These are the moments we couldn't be happier about our ultra-lightweight yet durable Helinox chairs.
If you want to get some Helinox products for yourself or somebody you love, use our discount code to get 10% off at helinox.eu. At least in theory, we should get a small commission at no cost to you. So far we haven't seen any of it, but one can always hope, right? Oh wow. Looks like we made it through the protected area. Whew. I must say, in the beginning I was kind of disappointed because it seemed like the road is really good, way too good. And then after we reached the highest point downwards, the last, I don't know, 15-20 kilometers were horrendous, to say the least. I mean, that was palmy highway level, terrible road. In any case, I guess this is as jungly as it will get on our journey. It was pretty cool. I mean, it was very jungly. We didn't see any big animals though, no elephants, not even monkeys. But we also did not get eaten by a tiger or something, so that's a plus.
So, we did it! We cycled through a proper jungle on little more than a dashed line.
We've made it to Cheap Hut and decided to stay in the Cardamom cottages. It's a community-based project for eco-tourism. And community-based means that they give a 20% share of their income they give back to the community to support other projects in the area, which sounds great, so we can accept a little bit more expensive night here.
The following day we have to cross a river to get back on the highway. They operate 2 ferries here, one for cars and trucks, and a tiny one only suitable for motorcycles, people on foot, and of course bicycles.
Since we entered Cambodia, we see these houses everywhere. They are very notable because of the sound, and I assume most of the sound comes from a speaker and not even actual birds, but obviously there's also a lot of birds because these houses are built to house birds, not because they like birds so much.
A Swiftlet house is a factory for one of the world's most expensive foods. Built close to the coast, these massive structures mimic a dark cave. The goal is to attract a specific bird species using recordings of their own calls.
They build houses everywhere, for the birds. The Swiftlet's tiny nests, built entirely from strands of their own saliva, are the raw commodity for the lucrative global trade of bird's nest soup. Yummy! Turning Swiftlet spit into pure profit is a multi-million-dollar industry. The edible bird's nest is nicknamed white gold for a reason. A single kilogram of high-quality cleaned nest sells for anywhere from $3,000 to $8,000.
These speakers blare 24 hours a day, creating a constant nuisance. But their owners usually live far away in the cities and don't seem to mind.
As we get closer to the highway, we suddenly get to enjoy some traffic. There must be a gravel mine nearby supplying material for the road construction. Literally, from one moment to the next, we are getting passed by massive dust clouds every minute or two. Riding through Cambodia, the landscape seems to be defined by certain constants. For one, terrible roads.
Oh, welcome back at the main road. This looks like crap.
Well, soon enough this will be a great road, just not for us.
Hello.
2. Those iconic rows of neatly dressed students walking along the roadside.
Hello.
Then of course 3, the beer wall.
Cambodia seems to be quite the beer market, and they seem to like German type beer. The brand Gansberg makes so much advertising. Like there's in every village, I'm not kidding, in every village, just look, the orange red sign, that's Gansberg advertisement, and literally every other house has a huge Gansberg billboard. It's mad. How can they even afford to put that many? Gansberg, Gansberg. And over there, more Gansberg, 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 all the way down the road. It's insane. It's more prevalent than the picture of the president. And yeah, that's in every village. Cambodia, also beer brand. What's that? Oh, look here. So there's another Gansberg and Cambodia, which is new, Gansberg. And I don't know, the president and his brother, I don't know. No idea. And there, more Gansberg over there.
It is a fierce three-way battle for market dominance. Brands turn every small shop into a massive billboard by giving away free refrigerators and permanent signage.
4. The mobile vendors in their rolling shops, where you often cannot even see the driver anymore.
5. The Kuidal or Kuyon walking tractor, a one-axle, one-cylinder, multi-purpose engine, used for literally anything one can imagine.
And last but not least, the blue billboards of the Cambodian People's Party. In the late afternoon, we close in onto Sre Ambel, just 13 kilometers from the junction of the national roads 48 and 4.
Now this village is clearly not touristic at all. Sadly, there's a horrendous amount of trash everywhere. And there seems to be more birdhouses than anything else, which is kind of odd. Anyhow, we're going to stay here for one night because I have a horrible, actually two horrible butt sores that are not very nice to have. I guess it's because of the heat and an insane amount of sweating. I might need to rest until it gets a little bit better. This is very painful. Time for a bucket shower.
After some challenging days in the jungle, we clawed our way back into civilization. Our bodies feel battered. Koh Kong province is arguably the remotest part of Cambodia, and we reliably end up in these kinds of regions in every country we cycle through. We find them much more authentic and interesting, but they are also more demanding physically and even more so mentally. Sre Ambel is by all means as untouristic as it gets, but it also is a proper town. We decide to spend an extra day resting Mathias' saddle sores and checking out the local market.
Trying new things is always fun. However, without the ability to ask questions, one sometimes needs extra willpower. Take this lady for example. She looks so friendly, but I don't understand what it is that she sells. I'm inclined to pass on, but...
It's ice cream.
Ice cream. Oh.
How much? Ice cream, Coco's ice cream.
Ah, coconut. Coconut ice cream.
Good. Oh, cool.
Luckily, I didn't chicken out. That is delicious. Next, Ara spots some grilled leaves and orders me to check them out. We again have no idea what's inside, which means, naturally, I have to do the testing.
How much? This is fish from the grill. Grilled rice. Oh wow. It's very hot, but I can already smell the coconut. Wow. Look, from the side it's caramelized. And it has a filling. Rice. I don't know what the filling is, but it's kind of sweet. Maybe some fruit, but it's really tasty. I've wanted it. I might eat it by myself.
After eating that big chunk of grilled rice by himself, Mathias is thirsty and immediately checks out the juice bar.
Properly refreshed, we head deeper inside the market.
Wild stuff.
They have a lot to choose from, but unfortunately most things are fresh in the sense that they aren't prepared yet. We notice a slight lack of refrigeration and some mind-numbing smells. Well, the flies absolutely love it here.
We don't find much else or rather Mathias wants to risk trying. Granted, he has had enough diarrhea for a lifetime. For the locals, however, this market really is the center of town. They come here for everything. You can even get a haircut. Most people seem a bit shy, maybe because they are not used to seeing Westerners. However, one kind shopkeeper shows me how she makes coconut flakes.
So, bisschen frittierte Banane.
This was our mind-boggling first week in Cambodia. Thank you so much for watching, and remember,
creating this content is only possible thanks to the support of our amazing contributors. Through buymeacoffee.com/aworldbiketour and paypal.me/amazingworldbiketour, you can chip in as well, helping us immensely in getting another episode out.
if you want to see more of our amazing world bike tour, be so kind to drop a like, subscribe to our channel and activate all notifications. In the meantime, you can watch about 50 episodes from our first pedal strokes back in Germany all the way to Southeast Asia.
Thank you so much. Until next time.
And may the wind be at your back.